Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Michi Makes Up. Today's video, I'm going to talk about the Sonia G Fusion Eye Series set of brushes and how I've been using them over the past year plus. I originally got these brushes when they first launched, and it was always my intention to come back with an update video. This one is just a little bit later than what I would have preferred, but now that I've given these many uses, I feel like it's time to kind of sit down and talk about how I've been using them. When I first got these, I talked about, the basic features of these brushes, what they were meant to do, how they were designed to kind of fulfill certain makeup needs, and then the similar shapes that I have in my collection that are comparable to these ones. So if you're looking for that kind of information, that's actually in the original video, which I will have a link below so you can go check out. But this video is going to be focusing on how I've been using these brushes, why I like to use them for, a particular purpose, and then to give you guys a demonstration. But I will quickly go over, some basic features of the brushes as well. These brushes are made with both synthetic and natural fibers. That's why it's called the Fusion series, because it's a blend of two different hairs, if you will, to make up of these brush heads. They are designed to be good for especially liquid and cream products, but you can use them for powder products as well. In fact, the density and the incorporation of synthetic fibers can give you a more controlled application as well as more diffuse at the same time. So I'll also demonstrate what I mean by that. I have not been using these strictly for eye products. In fact, two of these brushes I use only for complexion products. So I'd love to talk about that as well. Right now, I have my brows done, but nothing else on. So I like to, as we talk and demonstrate, I want to go through the different products I use these for. So that's why I don't have anything on right now. I'm going to first get into concealer, because that's normally what I start off doing with my makeup after my brows. So the concealer I've been using, there's actually two. There's the Surratt Dewdrop Concealer and Merit Beauty's The Minimalist. And this is a stick foundation concealer. You can see I've used it a good amount. This one I got in the shade, I think, shade 1. Super light. I've gotten a lot of sun since May, and so I'm gonna go with the this one's really light too. I do enjoy my concealers being lighter so I can get a lifted glow effect, but this is going to be a little bit deeper than number 1 in the Dewdrop Concealer, so I'm going to go with this, and I just dab it like that. I do have dark under eye circles and these areas that have some blemishes. I'll dab it like this. I don't use any of the Fusion series brushes to blend the concealer. However, just let me get this in. The brush I'm using is actually from her Fusion series face set of brushes. This is called the Jumbo Concealer. At this time, these brushes are not available. They are not labeled as discontinued, and I think Sonia has noted people would like to see these brushes back again, but currently you cannot buy them, and it actually took me a while to realize that was the case. It was only when I was kind of shopping on Beautylish that I saw that these were completely out. I'll definitely let you guys know if these come back in stock, because I know they are sought after for sure. So that's what the concealer worked in. And you can see while, most that under eye darkness is mostly brightened up here, I do have some other areas that could use some more, detailed work. It's just because they're smaller areas. This is where the Fusion Eye Series detail brush comes in. You can see it has a kind of taper to a point, kind of like a pencil shape. And it is a bit longer than some of the shorter pencil shape brushes available. And I've just found that take some product, dab it along those areas that a bigger brush might be, would have trouble getting into. And then even for like, you know, these areas here, trying to brighten or even out the skin tone. Same thing with any areas on the nose, like this part here. I have some dark spots, and you can see, just like a pencil, it gives you more control, and you can layer it on as well. It takes product, a good amount of product each time. And off camera, I actually did some more work right along here. You can kind of see how it's concealed. I really like how much product it can take and how much control I have to overlay the product on different parts of the face. It's especially useful when you have, you know, like a pimple blemish or scars or anything, and you can just go like that to conceal it. So really handy. The way that I use this detail brush kind of fits within my needs perfectly. After concealing, I don't right away go to put on powder. So I'm going to come back after I put on foundation. By the way, this is the Koyudo Fupa brush, and this had been out of stock, or let me rephrase that, discontinued completely for a couple of years until Fude Beauty decided to have a revival project and bring back this brush. It also is sold out currently, but they're going to bring it back in a wooden handle. If you are interested in this brush, I will have a link below so you can take a look. I think they're still taking pre-orders for the brush right now. It should be coming out, if not later this summer, then sometime in the fall. But instead of doing all of it off camera, I want to show you how I use this particular foundation brush, which I think is just so magnificent in working with liquid products. What I have here is Ilia's Super Serum Skin Tint SPF 40. This is in the shade Balos or Balos 03. It is too light for me this time of the year, so what I do is mix it with a deeper shade. ST9 Paloma, this is the deeper shade. Kind of looks ridiculous like this, but if you'll bear with me, I'll just mix it in. Okay, all right. Then you can do kind of what I'm doing, or if you want to have a more sheer application, you can do bigger areas, and that also makes it quicker. I just want to show you the even application you can get using this brush, and I love this foundation as well. I'm going to do the rest off camera. I'll come back to show you once it's complete. This is with the foundation applied. I think the shade matches like okay. If I was a little bit more conscious of the blend between the two, I think I can get even a better match. But this is what I have right now, and I'm going to apply some pressed powder on it, and this is the Kosas Cloud Set in the shade Breezy. I'm also using Sonia G's Phase 1 brush. That is the pressed powder all over the face here. I would say I'm pretty happy with how it's gone on. What I'm gonna do is now do a bit more detail work, and I don't actually do this every day, but it's for, you know, photo shoots, or I'm going out somewhere and I have a bit more time to spend on the look, is when I like to go in to do more detail work. Also, if I have a blemish, I'm just really trying to conceal it, I also take this extra step here. So next I'm gonna use, from the Fusion Eye series, the blender brush. And the blender brush here is comes up to a dome shape, and it takes on any kind of powder product. I'm actually switching over to Westman Atelier's Vital Press Skin Powder. This is the shade Cream, and I'm going to take cream because I haven't put any powder under the eyes. I'm just going to dab it. I am basically setting the concealer with this powder. And you can see just by this kind of dabbing motion and not dragging it, I think it sets the product better. And I think what I'll get from this is longer lasting before things start to kind of separate and you start looking kind of tired under the eyes because of how the makeup is maybe coming apart. And I'm also going to work this area here because, again, with the movement, it is one of the first places where foundation starts to separate. And I do the same thing, just dab it. The purpose of a powder, besides setting your foundation, is also to give you a blurred effect. And notice how both under the eyes and in the corners of the nose, it's like slightly more blurred, which is just the way, just what I'm looking for. It's just the way that I like it. Next, I'll work on the corners here because I know with a big brush, while it's very effective on buffing product, it's got a little bit of powder here. It's not quite the same. And again, areas with more movement, you would want some more coverage and attention to it, if time permits. And I'm doing this area here because I've got some redness. And I'll just do this area here because there's just more movement from talking. So that is how I use the blender brush from the Fusion Eye series. And these two brushes together, I feel like I can get really granular and detailed. They've just been really staple uses in my makeup routine. Now that we're done with like the overall complexion for base products, I'd like to go into my first eye product here. The next brush I want to talk about is going to be the Jumbo Worker. And the Jumbo Worker is quite, as the name implies, it's a big brush. It covers a lot of area. And when I think of how, this blend of bristles is good for liquids and creams and powders, I'm just thinking, okay, liquid, cream eyeshadows. This is a very much one and done situation. And I have just the product for it. So I'm going to take my favorite one and done eyeshadow that I've been using recently. These are the Surratt Soufflé eyeshadows. This is in the shade Matin Vert. It's Army Green, Swamp Green. And I also have this in two other shades, but the one that I have on my vanity along with the green is the Rose Rave. Just this really pretty pink here. This has been my go-to whenever I'm just trying to quickly get a look done. It is shimmery, sparkly, not too much, just the right kind of pink that doesn't wash me out, and it just gives me a really, I feel like, sophisticated look. What I do here, and you can do this with other types of liquid shadow, this is actually more of a gel. So once you apply on, it does dry, but it's more gel-like in texture. And so I've got, you can kind of see it, a good amount of product on there. You can see the shimmer, and I'm just going to lightly sweep it onto the lid. I won't start all over the lid right away, but I'm gonna work my way outwards here, upwards too, to cover more area. And you can see just how much product I got without it being too, concentrated. I mean, this is a lot more than what I would usually put on. And notice this area here, because it is big. I got this part of it, which I'll probably do some cleanup, because I'm not going for that vampy of a look. But I think everywhere else here has like just the concentration I'm looking for. And it's really beautiful the way it kind of tapers here to a point, and you can actually turn the brush onto its side to get a little bit more of that pointed shape. Because of the size of the brush, you're not going to get, really detailed eyeshadow outline, so that's just something to be aware of. but I'm happy with the quick application. You can see there's also a little bit more concentrated product right here. So I'm gonna now go in with, also from the Fusion Eye series, the Builder brush to just smooth it out. Just to smooth it out so it's not lumpy right here. I'm gonna go back in with the Builder, and I'm actually going to build more product right on top here of like my double lid or the fold, because I do want it to be a little bit more concentrated and then kind of become lighter as it goes outwards. And then this allows me to bring it out over here. I can also then bring this down to the lower lash line to just line it. I don't want a really concentrated look either under the lash line, because this is supposed to stay kind of light, and this is probably just enough for me. So I'm going to clean up this area and then I'll come back for the other eye. For the other eye, because I'm not going anywhere today, I decided to use a different product because I do want to show you how the brush is with something with a slightly different texture. This is going to be Sicily's liquid eyeshadow. It is a bronzy shade here, and this is another favorite of mine. Really easy, kind of one and done. Certainly, I can use other brushes to get the product on, which I've done in the past. However, I'm going to use this jumbo brush, and let's take a look at how easy it is to spread the product using this. And I don't know if it's conveyed well over camera, but the Sicily product is actually more watery than Surratt, because Surratt's more of a gel. So this is with one application of the Sicily product. I'm going to go back for a second application. But I'm going to go back and do some work and apply a little bit more here so we can get more product, more of a gradient moving this way. The worker brush is a flat brush that comes up to a dome shape, and because of the longer bristles, it covers more area. So I could have used this brush to blend out the product here when we were working on this side. So I just want to show you side by side. These are both flat brushes. This one is does splay out a little bit more. It's thicker, but it is longer, and so will cover more area. So this is both front facing and then both brushes from the side. This is going to be the builder brush. With just like with the builder, we can also use this brush to go below the lash line. This will actually give you a more softer blended look than using the builder, because the builder is shorter, but it's very dense here, while this has like more give in comparison. I can also use this brush to blend out the corner here so it's not as harsh. Jumbo brush here. If you're using a deeper shade, you want to be careful, because if you get product very evenly all over the brush head and you sweep it, you can see that I definitely got product right along here. With a lighter shade, while I still got some product, I probably could get away with it a little bit more. It's just not as obvious in comparison, but overall it just makes really, really quick work of any eyeshadow. You can certainly use this for powder as well. So what I like to do, because now you've seen how it works with a gel eyeshadow and a liquid eyeshadow, I like to actually demonstrate by dabbing it into a powder shadow so you guys can see what the payoff looks like. And I'm going to go with here is from Chanel. It's the Le Beige palette in the Tender color story. I'm going to go into this shade here. I think I'm just drawn to pink because my nails are pink right now, And I also happen to have this on my vanity. That's a good amount of product. I'll just tap off excess. So you can see how diffuse. It's very diffused. The way it goes on covers a lot of area, makes quick work of the powder. In comparison, I'll use the Blender Pro, and this is from her Pro eye set, same shade. Also, good amount of product. Let me tap some off. It's just slightly more. It still blends really well, just slightly more concentrated. So this blends it, this really diffuses it a lot. And it just depends if that's what you want to do, if that's your style. I don't use this for powder because I typically want more payoff unless it's a really deep shade. But if it's a really deep shade, we saw there can be some, you know, other things to look out for. So truly, I do use this brush for liquid and creams, and I can make really quick work when I go back in for any refining details with either the worker or the builder brushes. And then as we're talking about it, I'm also going to show you using the builder on a powder shadow what it looks like. So it's just very, very soft. And then let's go to the worker. You can see a good amount of product here. And then we're at the very end. So I think out of all the brushes we use to test powder, the worker has the most payoff. But it also blends really nicely too. I'm just going to quickly finish up my makeup before I go here. So I'm going to take Hermes blush in Rose Pommet. I'm also going to use actually a different brush here. This is from Chikuhodo, their Z series, and this is their actually cheek and highlighter brush. It's probably my new favorite brush. It's just so elegant the way that it applies blush and highlighter. In fact, I actually prefer blush. You can see just how much product it takes, and I tapped off the excess, but how much control I get over the product and how beautifully it goes on. Few applications on both sides. It's so beautiful. The Chikuhodo Z series cheek and highlighter brush. I don't think this is a secret in any way. I'm just late to the game, late to the train here. Beautiful, beautiful. Made also with natural bristles. If you're interested, I have a link below. I would like to eventually get all of the brushes from the Z series and actually have a video on that, but just wanted to quickly show you. And let me actually pick a lip product as well. I'm gonna go with Merit's Signature Lipstick in the shade Ginger. This is a pretty lipstick shade. I think I like it more with the green than the bronze. Maybe just a personal preference, but I think the green looks really nice. This lipstick shade is beautiful. So my final thoughts on the brushes. I am pleasantly surprised as I was using these brushes after first getting them on just how much of a gap or how many gaps they've filled, that I don't really have any other brush in my collection, you know, that do exactly those things or as well. And particularly it's going to be both the detail brush and the blender that I use for complexion detailed work for blemishes. And I just don't have anything that I could do that. Obviously you can use your finger, you know, this is always a great tool. It's always very versatile. But again, for that detailed work, this is it for me. And so I love that about the brushes. I also, you know, once I started playing around with the jumbo more, just to see if I enjoy it with powder or liquids and creams, it was really obvious that liquid and cream blending is key, especially in the one and done scenario where you're just trying to quickly put something on that will tie your look together, but also doesn't require too much effort. This allows me to do just that, even with deeper shades that can be kind of risky sometimes. Like I think the deeper liquid shades can be difficult to work with, just depending on the brand formula, but it's not going to be as easy as something that's like nice and light pink or champagne. Champagne doesn't even show up on my skin, by the way. Even when I, previous to getting all the sun, it doesn't even really show up on my face, but pink does. And so I can get away with pink, but anything that's deeper is tricky. So I really enjoy that. If you're looking for a good set of eyeshadow brushes, but you mostly use powder, I don't recommend these to be your first set of brushes. I think these are, again, with the bristle blend of natural and synthetic, it's really meant for liquid and cream uses. Certainly you can still get this and use it for liquid and creams and then use them for powders. But as you saw, you're just gonna get very diffused payoffs. And that might be what you're looking for. If you enjoy really bright or deep shades and you just need something that can apply with a lighter touch and then allows you to go back in rather than having to fix your makeup, I think these are they give you a lot of grace. They give you a lot of grace, and they certainly give me a lot of grace when I'm working with something that is very, very pigmented. And so I love these brushes, just like her Fusion Face Series. I feel like they're just, once again, very versatile, and I never knew I needed them until I got them. So not all the brushes are used as often as the others, and I think the three most are going to be these three. We have the Jumbo, the Detail, and the Blender. So these are the three. If you had to consider purchasing individuals, that's kind of how I would prioritize, for my specific reasons. Certainly with brushes, you don't have to, they're designed for like a few specific tasks, but like any tool, if you find that it works for you to use it a certain way, that's more power to you. And I find that using those two for complexion is just perfect for me. Well, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, let me know below. Let me know if you've tried these brushes or you've been eyeing them. They're still available. I thought they would forever be available as long as the manufacturer will make them, but it wasn't the case with the Fusion Face Series, and I was very surprised at that. Hopefully Sonia G may bring it back. We've made our voices, we've voiced what we'd like to see to her in a recent Instagram post, but you can still get the Fusion Eye Series at this time. Life takes me away from making content like weeks and weeks at a time, but you can always find me on social media, Instagram or TikTok, and send me a message there. So I will see you guys very soon. Bye.